Hello and welcome to Learning Music with Pat. On the last segment, toward the end of the segment, I played a song that I said I would repeat today because I didn't have any chance to dissect it with you. I didn't have any chance to tell you what it was about, so I just played it once. So I am going to start with that same song as I said I would, but let me show you some things about it here first before I begin. This is one of my own songs. It's in the key of D. 4/4 timing. D is two sharps, F sharp and C sharp. It's in 4/4 time. This is a full beat rest. This would be the second beat. This would be the third beat. And this would be the fourth beat. And then there's 4 beats to every measure. And I have marked this up a little. I've marked the fact that this is an A, that this is an F sharp, and that this is a whole note and it's on the B line. That becomes slurred, so you play this note as if it was an attachment. So instead of counting 4 beats to that note, you actually count 5 beats to the note. Actually, it's one note. You count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. But added up, it's 5 beats altogether. And then here you have a hold. And I have a sharp there indicating that it's a C sharp. That hold is like a little curve with a dot on top. And that means the fact that you can hold that note as long as you want to hold it. And if for beginning students, I've written all of this in. Now in my own copy, I just put the holds in, but I don't necessarily put the breath marks. Here's a breath mark right here. It looks like a little apostrophe. Here's one right here. And then you have your, I want to mention you have the higher notes, which I showed you last time, but I want to write a song. I want to write a song that has the E's and the D's in it. So C and B, A, G, F, E, D is what we've done. And I've reviewed some of these higher notes, but I want to have practice. I have you have practice playing it. This is a D, this is a D, and this is an E. And it doesn't go any higher than that. Another D, 2 D's right here, C sharp, B, D. So it's important to be able to go on the higher notes. What I have shown you is that what I usually show you is this B, A, G, F, E, D. But you want to be able to go from B to C sharp, look no thumb, and then from C sharp to D. So it's kind of a difficult transition if you don't know what you're doing. So it's G, A, B, C, C sharp, D, and E. Now I'm going to be showing you all these fingerings on the music, but first I want to play this once, and then I'll show you some of those fingerings, and then we'll go on. Well, I think for the next couple of segments we'll be doing more in terms of fingerings of notes. So let me try this. This is a march written in 4/4. A lot of marches are written in 2/2 or cut time, which looks like a C and a slash down in front of it. But I'm putting it in 4/4 times because I think it'll be easier to learn it. So let's get to the music and I'll play this march. Okay, so let me show this to you again. I will be showing you fingerings, but I want you to pay close attention to the slur. This is slurred with this. 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 and all the way down, I have those slurs with some breathing marks, and occasionally I mark out what the actual note is, C sharp or whatever. And you go all the way down here, another slur here. If I didn't have the slurs, it would really sound funny. I would have to play something like this, and I'll play it a little fast because otherwise it's going to be boring. Now, isn't it much better to slur a note and hold it a little instead of having all these extra notes put in? It makes a big difference in the music. Now, let me show you what I have shown you before in terms of fingerings and looking at this top, but watch my fingers for now. It's going to be B, A, G, F, or F, depending upon whether you have a Baroque or a German instrument, F, E, D. And we've done that, we know that. But what I want to do is go from B, C, C sharp, D, and E. So let me play it first, and then I'm going to be showing you fingerings. I think what I'll do is start here and show you individual fingerings for the notes that we need to know. So I'm starting with the B, C, C sharp. And on that C sharp, I take my thumb off the thumb hole. It is no longer there. And then for the E, I lift this finger, and this middle finger is really the only finger playing. And then I go to the E, and all of the fingerings are normal for the E, except I want a high E, so I pull my thumb down, and we do it by a half hole. Now, what I'll do now is to show you individually what these are. Going from the B, remember we've done B, A, G, F, E, D. So this time we're going to go up instead of down. The B, you have your thumb hole. This is the thumb hole in the back of the instrument. I draw it, a recorder a little bit smaller so you know what that is. And the B is this top. This top note is covered. You can see that the tone hole is blackened in. And if I show it to you, it's like this. This is the B. And you can see my thumb is covering the hole, and you can see my finger is covering that top one. That's the B. So, and I want you to notice, this is where it appears on the staff. The staff has 5 lines. So this B is 3 lines up. Normally, if I were taking you down, I'd go A, G, F, E, and D, but we're going up. Now, here's the C. The C is 1 step higher than the B, but you play it, you take the B, the finger that was on the B, you take it off, and you put that second finger down. And if I'm going to show you this, which I will now, here's your C. So you've gone from B, this one, lift it up and put this one down, C. Now, normally I want to tell you, you don't usually lift your fingers up that high. I'm doing it, I'm emphasizing it so it'll be easier for you to remember. But normally you have your hands curved. You don't play flat. I mean, some people do, but it's absolutely the wrong thing to do. You have your hands curved, and when you get to that B, your finger for the C is kind of already curved, ready to go down. You lift that B off and put that C down, and you do it at the same time. Because if you don't, you're going to get an extra note or a note you're not planning to get. It has to be done simultaneously. If I don't do it at the same time, this is what you're going to get. And that actually is playing a little bit of an A, which isn't supposed to be there. So you go from that B, lift it up, second note down is the C, and you notice that the thumb hole is still covered. And I have that delineated right there. And this is the C as it appears on the staff. So that's C. It is on the third space up. The B was on the third line up. The C is on the third space up. So it's easier to remember that way. Then I want to go, whoops, I don't want to miss one here. Then I want to go to the C sharp. In the C sharp, that hole, the thumb hole, you just lift it off so that that is not covered at all. And you keep these two fingers down. The first one, which was the B, and the second one, that was the C, you play them now together, but you play them without covering the tone hole. So let me show you this. That's your C sharp. That's your C sharp. Now, when I did this, I was actually playing the D, but it should be for C sharp. Just those two, and the tone hole is completely uncovered, which means you've taken your thumb off, not just pulled it down a little. If you pull it down a little, you've got a half hole, but you lift it off. And as I say, I'm exaggerating it so it may be easier to remember, but that's the C sharp. And the C sharp is the same C, but it's got a little sharp on top. It has a little sharp in front of it. Or you can write the sharp in the key signature, and you don't have to make any special markings. But this is where it is, third one up, third space. And then you have your D, which is up here. And that's the tone hole is uncovered, and you are playing this middle finger as if it was a C, but without the covering of the tone hole. And what you're playing is D, which is the fourth line up. Now this doesn't look too hard when I'm showing it to you, but when you're playing it, you have to remember B, C, C sharp, D, C sharp, D, C, and then B, A, G, F, E, okay, so that's where it is. And then I did put in one more, because what you do when you get beyond that D, then you can play more high notes, but your thumb hole is half closed. It's called half holing, and you put your thumb on, but you draw your thumb down a little bit, just a little bit, and you have half of a hole covered, not the whole one, but half of it. It may be hard to pick up on television, but you move it down. You don't have to take it off. You don't have to flail it around or anything. Just pull it down a little, and that's half holing. And then you can play your high E. You can play your high F. You can play your G. And the thumb hole remains halfway closed. That's how you do it. So B, thumb hole is on, covered. C, thumb hole is on, covered. C sharp, the thumb hole is not covered. D, the thumb hole is not covered. And then when you get to the D, E, or F, and G, I'm sorry, not D, but E, F, G, that will be half covered. Okay, now that sounds like it's fairly simple, but it's kind of hard to do. It's really kind of hard to do. The song, yeah, I have enough time to do this, I guess. When you play songs, you're actually playing intervals between notes. If I play an octave, it's an interval of actually 8 notes, but the 8th note is a repeat of the first note. If I play from D to B, there's an interval, D, E, F, G, A, B. And you have to be able to jump, and this is important in terms of playing, you have to be able to jump between one note and another note. That takes some skill to do that, because what students tend to do, they tend to, some of them, play flat, and you just can't do it. You can't manage your hands that way and do it in time. Your hands have to be curved. The other thing is you may need to blow a little less or a little more air in, depending upon the note you're trying to get. So that gets some getting used to. So I think that what I do with my students is I write songs in which they are going to be doing intervals. Like, for example, here's your D, here's your C, then you go from a B to a D, a B to a D, and over here, an A to a D, an A to a D, and on through the song, B, D, B, D, and then D going up to E, E. Now that's a full octave right there. That E to that lower E is a full octave. And I keep going back and forth in terms of intervals between the notes, because your notes aren't going to necessarily be beside each other. You're going to have to jump. So let me play this once and you'll get an idea. And I'm not going to do it too fast, and then I'm going to show you what I did. Let me play that again. Now, it's just a song, but it's a song in which I've written intervals into the song to give you practice in doing it. So you might want to, if you're at home and you have a recorder and you're trying to learn this, play from high notes to low notes. Now, the lowest note I'm playing on this is a D. All of the fingers are covered, plus a thumb hole. Not the lowest ones, but all of the 6 fingers are covered. And then I have my thumb hole covered. And of course, I will move the thumb back and forth depending upon what I need to get the higher notes. But if you take high notes and low notes and go between them, so I kind of made up a song there and did that in intervals for you. And you should do it slow. The reason I'm asking you to do it slow, you need to find out, does your embouchure need to be changed a little bit to be able to get the note in certain ranges? Does the air that you blow into need to change a little bit? Do you have to put more into the high notes, which usually you do, than you do the low notes? The low notes usually don't take quite as much air. But I also want to say that every instrument is different. They all have their individuality. They all sound a little bit different. You have to be accustomed to each instrument that you play to know what you have to do to make it work. I know if you're playing a flute, a regular flute, sometimes if you want a high note, you may want to turn the flute a little bit toward you, even though the mouthpiece is still in the same place, but turn it a little. And if you want to play it not quite so loud, turn it away a little bit. So there are little things that you need to learn about the idiosyncrasies of the music that you play. But you need to get used to the intervals, because there are a lot of intervals in a a lot of songs, and I just wrote this out to show you. Now, I don't have time to do what I really want to do, so I'm going to close it here. But what I want to do next time is I want to show you basic fingerings using charts that I have brought in so you can actually see it, and then I'll play along with it, and so we'll be doing that next segment. So please join me then.